What do you think about quality time?
Quality time. I mean, everyone loves spending time with people they care about.
True, but this is more specific than that.
Okay.
It's about giving your partner your undivided attention,
Ah.
being present, engaged,
Yeah.
making them feel like they're the most important person in the world at that moment.
So no checking your phone during dinner?
Definitely not.
Or scrolling through social media while they're talking to you?
Nope.
Okay. I'm definitely guilty of that sometimes.
It's a common one, but for someone whose love language is quality time, those little distractions could be really hurtful.
Yeah, I can see that.
So it's about putting those distractions aside and truly focusing on your partner.
Okay, so how do you actually do that?
Well, maybe you plan a tech-free date night,
That's a good idea.
or you go for a walk together,
Right.
or even just sit down and have a meaningful conversation.
No phones, no TV, just talking.
Exactly. Creating that space for connection, uninterrupted by the outside world.
Okay, so that's quality time.
Yep. And that brings us to our last love language, physical touch, which we talked about a bit earlier.
Right, so for someone whose love language is physical touch, those hugs and cuddles and hand-holding moments are really important.
Yes, it's how they feel most connected and loved.
But again, it's super important to be mindful of your partner's preferences and boundaries.
Absolutely. You want to make sure that physical touch is something they enjoy and not something that makes them uncomfortable.
Now I'm thinking about all of this and how it applies not just to romantic relationships, but to all my relationships.
Absolutely. These love languages can be applied to friendships, family relationships.
Really?
Yeah. For example, if you know your friend's love language is acts of service,
Okay.
offering to help them move or babysit their kids could be a really powerful way to express your care for them.
It's like you're speaking their language.
Exactly. It's about tailoring your gestures to the individual and what makes them feel loved and appreciated.
That makes a lot of sense.
And speaking of showing appreciation in different ways, the guide also talks about the importance of celebrating successes and milestones.
Right. It's not just about the day-to-day stuff, it's also about being there for the big wins.
Exactly.
What kind of advice does it offer in this area?
Well, it emphasizes acknowledging those milestones, offering encouragement, being your partner's biggest cheerleader.
Okay.
Imagine your partner just got a promotion.
Okay.
Instead of just saying congrats, you plan a special dinner to celebrate their achievement.
That's nice.
You're going the extra mile to show that you're truly happy for them.
Yeah, and that you recognize their hard work.
Exactly.
Okay.
Instead of just saying congrats, you plan a special dinner to celebrate their achievement.
That's nice.
You're going the extra mile to show that you're truly happy for them.
Yeah, and that you recognize their hard work.
Exactly. And remember, celebrations don't have to be extravagant.
Oh, good.
Sometimes a simple heartfelt note or a small gift can mean the world.
It really is the thought that counts.
It is.
And this could apply to all sorts of milestones, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Not just career achievements, but also personal goals, creative projects.
Even just navigating a tough challenge.
Absolutely. Whether it's finishing a marathon, launching a website, or simply getting through a difficult period in their life.
Yeah.
Being there to support and celebrate those moments can really strengthen your bond.
It's like saying, I'm not just here for the easy times. I'm here to celebrate your wins with you.
Exactly. And, the guide actually suggests creating rituals for celebrating successes.
Oh, that's interesting.
Maybe it's a special dinner at a weekend getaway,
Uh-huh.
or even just a tradition of popping a bottle of champagne for every achievement, no matter how big or small.
I love that. It adds an element of intentionality.
Right.
It makes those moments even more special.
Speaking of intentionality,
Okay.
the guide wraps up by emphasizing that acts of kindness in their own right are a powerful expression of affection.
You know, that really resonates with me.
Yeah.
I think sometimes we overcomplicate things.
Right.
When at the core, it's really about showing basic human kindness,
Absolutely.
right? Like those small acts of consideration.
Making your partner a cup of coffee in the morning, offering to pick up something from the store, or simply asking, "How was your day?"
Those can go a long way.
They can.
It's like those little gestures say, I'm thinking of you and I want to make your day a little brighter.
Exactly.
And while we've been focusing on romantic relationships, these acts of kindness are equally important in friendships, family relationships, even professional interactions.
It's about creating a more positive and caring environment no matter what kind of relationship it is.
Now, as we wrap up our deep dive into this guide, I'm curious,
Yeah.
what's one key takeaway that's resonating with you?
I think what stands out to me most is this idea that appreciation and affection are like the lifeblood of a relationship.
I like that.
They nourish the connection, they create a sense of safety and belonging, and they allow the relationship to thrive.
Yes.
And it's not about waiting for grand occasions, it's about making those small, consistent efforts to show the people in our lives how much we care.
Beautifully said. It's about making appreciation and affection a habit, a way of being in our relationship.
A way of being. I like that a lot. You know, as we're talking about all this,
Yeah.
I'm realizing how often we focus on those big dramatic moments in relationships.
Right.
But this guide has really opened my eyes to the power of those small, everyday moments of connection.
Yeah, it's so true. Sometimes we can overlook those little things, like a simple thank you or a thoughtful gesture.
Right.
But those can be the glue that holds a relationship together.
I'm thinking about that study we talked about earlier.
Yeah, the one about appreciation being linked to relationship satisfaction.
Right. It makes sense that those small acts add up over time and create a more positive dynamic.
And it's interesting because when you express appreciation to your partner, you're not just making them feel good.
Okay.
You're actually strengthening the foundation of the relationship.
How so?
You're communicating respect and value and a willingness to invest in that connection.
It's like saying, I see you, I appreciate you, and I'm here for you.
Exactly. And when that message is repeated consistently through those small gestures, it can really make all the difference.
And it's not just about romantic relationships, is it?
No, not
This applies to friendships, family relationships.
all kinds of relationships.
You've given me a lot to think about in terms of my own relationship.
Oh, good. Well, glad.
I'm already noticing opportunities to express appreciation more often.
That's wonderful. And remember, it's not about being perfect or going overboard.
Right.
It's about integrating these principles into your daily life,
Okay.
making appreciation and affection a natural part of how you interact with the people you care about.
I think that's a great takeaway from this deep dive.
Me too.
It's not about grand gestures or sweeping declarations.
No.
It's about those small, consistent acts of love and kindness that truly nourish our relationships.
Well said.
So, as we wrap up this episode,
Yeah.
we want to leave you with a little something to think about. What's one small act of appreciation or affection you can do for someone you care about today? It could be a simple thank you,
Yeah.
a listening ear,
That's a good one.
a helping hand.
Those little gestures can go a long way.
It can.
They really can.
We encourage you to put what you've learned into practice.
Yes.
And see what kind of ripple effects it creates.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the power of appreciation and affection.
It was my pleasure.
We'll see you next time for another exploration into the world of ideas and information.
See you then.